EQ can actually be super simple to use. At its core, EQ, anytime you use it, you are either trying to add something or subtract something away. So EQ is built up of a bunch of these little nodes here that you see. They're also called bands. And you can turn them on or off by using these little blue squares. And even though there's 8 of them and we have all these controls here, they all actually do the exact same thing. So this one up top is called a high pass filter. And that is basically just going to say anything to the left of this filter will be cut out and anything to the right will stay. So you can hear that as I sweep up and down, anything on the left gets cut out. This is all the low end and this is all the high end. And then after that, you have another high pass filter that is just a little bit smoother, so it's not quite as harsh. It's actually the same for a low pass filter, which is the bottom setting here, and it just does the opposite. So anything on the left stays, anything on the right is subtracted out. Okay, so then after that, we have what's called a shelf. And that is just going to say anything to the left of this curve, boost it up by this amount, or subtract it. And then on the opposite end, you have another shelf that's a high boost shelf. Same thing, but for the right side. So that's boosting your highs. Okay, and then there's only 2 versions left. You just have the standard version, which is this little node, and that's going to give you a little bit more freedom and just say right wherever that node is where I want to adjust. And then the other one is called a notch. There you go. And that's just going to be a super hardcore dip, or just a dip. That's it. It just cuts that frequency out completely. And then you've got 3 different sliders here on the left, or knobs, and basically you have frequency, gain, and Q. So frequency is just going to take the node that you've selected here, and it's going to move it to whatever frequency you move it to. How about that? And then gain, it's either going to boost or cut, like we talked about. You're either adding a frequency or you're subtracting it away. And then Q is actually really interesting. So the higher Q value you have, the thinner that node is going to actually become. So if it's a higher Q value, it's going to be very, very thin like that. And that's really useful if you're just trying to cut out a little bit of a frequency instead of a lot of it. And the lower that Q value gets, you're going to see it start to open up. And so that's going to include more frequencies as that Q value gets lower. You know what the nodes do. You know this left side. Let's talk about this right side. These little headphones, if you turn this feature on, it's going to highlight blue. And that is basically a solo feature. So whenever you have a node selected, you're only going to hear what that node is hearing. So sweep, normal. That can be really useful if you're searching for those high tinging frequencies. Like let's turn our Q value up and then look for some harmful frequencies. That kind of hurts. Okay, so I hear that frequency. You know what? I don't want it. I've got my high Q value, and then I'm just going to grab this knob and turn it down. Or let's look for a good sounding frequency. Oh man, I'm really digging that 126 hertz right there. So let's give a little bit wider Q, make it a little bit smoother, and then boost that up. Wow, that really sweetened things up. Okay, cool. So that's what little headphones do. What about right here on the right? This is kind of a hack. If you are inexperienced, turn this off and see what happens. So if you turn this off, then your waveforms here, like all your frequencies, you're not going to see them. Turn it on, you'll see them. Turn them off, you won't. Why is this useful? Why am I laughing and actually cracking up inside? It's hilarious because if you turn it off, you're actually forced to use your ears, which you're supposed to be using in the first place, rather than your eyeballs. So with this on, you're going to use your eyes to try and analyze everything. But if it's turned off, you go in Stevie Wonder mode. You're just going to have to actually use your ears and figure out what's good or what's bad. So I actually like using that feature a lot. Okay, what about mode here? Stereo. We've got even more controls if we didn't cover enough already. So stereo is obviously it's a standard setting. That's your left and right. It's going to affect your entire stereo image. Left and right. This is going to give you the ability to control the left side of your mix and the right side of your mix, which is really cool. So you can control them separately. So like you could, what if I only want high frequencies in the right side and I only want low frequencies in the left? Why you would do that, I don't know. But guess what? You can. It's crazy. It makes me feel like I might throw up, but it's actually pretty good. Okay, what about mid-side? This is like a combination between stereo and left and right. So the mid here, whenever it's blue and it says M, that is all your frequencies coming directly up. So they're equal left and right, and sounds like they're right up the center. So boom, that's adjusting all the frequencies up the center. And when you say side, it's going to turn orange here. That's all the frequencies on the side of your headphones. So this is something I do when I'm mastering a song. I will cut out some of the low end in the sides to make the speakers not work as hard. And I will boost some of the high end to make it sound a little bit sweeter. Let's use that high end shelf. Boom. Wow. Okay. So that's all the frequencies going into the side of my headphones. And then straight up the middle, I'm going to boost some of those lows. So I have more presence in the middle with the lows and then more sweetness on the highs in the side. That kind of level of control is actually insane. So it's super easy to use, but you can get super surgical with this one tool. Okay, we're almost done. Adapt Q. What does this do? Just leave it turned on. I'm going to be honest. I've never turned it off. I think it keeps things a little bit more consistent. You can read about it there. Who cares? Scale. It does exactly what you think. If you turn it up to 200, then for every 1 unit you move this, it actually moves it up 2. I don't know why you would want to do that. So just leave it at 100. And then gain. Let's say you boost a lot of things here. Then oh, wow. Okay, we've added a lot of information to kind of counterbalance that. You might want to turn the gain down. And on the converse, if you cut a lot of this information out, you might actually want to turn the gain up. So they give you that level of control. Let's just look at a few scenarios of how to use EQ effectively. So let's look at the drums first here. I'm going to put EQ on it. And you know what? I'm feeling like maybe these drums need a little bit less in the super low frequencies. I feel like it's getting kind of muddy. So I'm going to use a high pass filter and cut some of those frequencies off. Human hearing stops at 20 hertz anyway. So most of the time I'm cutting out frequencies under 20 hertz because you're just making your speakers work harder. Okay, well, these drums are sounding good, but I still want more low presence in that kick. So I'm going to hit play. Let's use the headphones and try and find some of those resonant frequencies of my kick. Right there. 74 hertz, 75 hertz. Boom. Got that. I'm going to raise my Q value a little bit. And that's just going to boost that low frequency. You can hear your kick is a lot more resonant now. Okay, let's say also, those hi-hats aren't quite cutting it. I want to get a little bit more ting and hiss in them. So I'm actually going to take this shelf and just turn it up a little bit in the high end. Wow, super snappy. Cool. Okay, those are two really simple uses of EQ, but listen to the drums with and without them. This is without, and this is with. That completely alters the sound, and it's such a small change, but it's very tasteful. And then let's look at it for the entire track really quick. Okay, maybe we're a little bit too much on the lows, so I'm actually going to change this to that low shelf. Maybe cut, 3 dB. That alone, just these slight changes completely alter the feel and vibe of the song. Wow, it's insane. One more cool thing that you can do with EQ, I'll throw it in here, is going for that kind of club feel. And that's achieved by having a low pass and a high pass filter engaged and kind of making it sound like this. And you can even automate things to slowly make them rise up. So let's try that. Then whenever I hit play, wow, it's going to automate it. Technology is incredible. EQ is super powerful. This is going to transform the way that you make music. If this video helped you in any way, please let me know. Leave a comment down below. What else do you want me to cover? Thanks for watching. Until next time, peace.